Ever bought a Big Mac? Played Pac-Man? Swabbed your ear with a Q-tip? You've used iconic brands without even thinking about their names. But what if I told you some of these famous products started out with hilariously terrible names? Welcome to a wild ride through marketing mishaps and accidental genius. These are the wacky early names of old products, and why changing them was the smartest move ever made. Branding isn't just important, it's everything. The right name can make your product a household staple. The wrong one? It might land you in the discount bin. Or, worse, forgotten forever. Today, we're looking at world-famous products that almost never caught on, because their original names were bizarre, awkward, or just plain bad. Let's dive in. Kool-Aid, originally Fruit Smack. Many of us grew up drinking Kool-Aid on hot summer days, but did you know it originally had a much stickier name? Back in the 1920s, a man named Edwin Perkins was experimenting with flavored drink concentrates in his family's general store. He created a sugary liquid called Fruit Smack. Yep, that was the name. It came in glass bottles that often shattered during shipping, creating a real mess. In 1927, Perkins solved the problem by developing a powdered version. He called it Kool-Aid, later changed to Kool-Aid with an I. By 1934, it had gone international, and when General Foods bought it in 1953, Kool-Aid officially became a household name. Waterbed, originally the Pleasure Pit. The 1960s were known for counterculture and bold experimentation, including in home design. Enter Charlie Hall, a San Francisco design student who wanted to make a more comfortable bed. What he invented was the waterbed, but he originally named it the Pleasure Pit. Yes, really. Despite not being a hippie himself, Hall's invention caught on fast during the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s. As competitors entered the market, the name waterbed took over, thankfully, and it became one of the most popular bedroom innovations of the era. Cheerios, originally Cheerioats, today, Cheerios are a staple of healthy breakfasts around the world. But when they were first introduced in 1941, the name was a bit clunky. Cheerioats. The name was chosen to highlight the cereal's whole-grain oat base. But by 1945, General Mills decided to simplify it, shortening Cheerioats to just Cheerios. It was a small change, but one that made all the difference. Vaseline, originally Wonder Jelly. In 1859, chemist Robert Chesebro noticed that oil workers were applying a strange jelly-like residue to soothe their burns and cuts. Fascinated, he developed a purification process to make the substance safe for consumer use. He then traveled around demonstrating its healing power, sometimes by burning himself with acid or flame, then applying the jelly as proof of its effectiveness. His original name for the product? Wonder Jelly. But it didn't quite click. So, in 1872, he renamed it Vaseline, a blend of the German word Wasser, water, and the Greek word elein, oil. That one change transformed Wonder Jelly into one of the most iconic ointments in the world. Pac-Man, originally, Pac-Man, one of the most legendary arcade games of all time, is Pac-Man. From cartoons to cereal, the character sparked a pop culture craze that even faced bans in some towns due to its overwhelming popularity. But the name, Pac-Man, wasn't what the game's Japanese creator originally called it. He named it Puck-Man, inspired either by the shape of the character or the Japanese word paku, meaning chomp. However, when the game was prepared for release in the US, marketers feared that mischievous teens might vandalize arcade cabinets by changing the P in Puck-Man to an F. Thus, Pac-Man was born, and video game history was changed forever. Q-tips, originally baby gaze. After watching his wife wrap cotton around toothpicks to clean their baby's ears, inventor Leo Gerstensang realized there had to be a better solution. In 1923, he launched a new product, pre-made, sterilized cotton swabs. His original name? Baby Gaze. Yes, seriously. While it might have made sense in an era where gay still meant happy, the name was awkward. Eventually, it was changed to Q-tips, with the Q standing for quality. A smart move because today Q-tips are practically synonymous with cotton swabs. Big Mac, originally the Aristocrat and Blue Ribbon Burger. Today, the Big Mac is McDonald's crown jewel. But when Pittsburgh franchise owner Jim Delagatti created the now iconic burger in 1967, the name wasn't so appetizing. He first tried calling it the Aristocrat, a name that sounded more like a formal steakhouse entree than a fast food burger. Next, he tried the Blue Ribbon Burger, but it still didn't connect with McDonald's audience. Corporate wasn't impressed with either option. So, in 1968, they settled on a name that was simple, catchy, and perfectly sized for the menu: Big Mac. It's been a global sensation ever since. Cotton candy, originally fairy floss. Here's a sweet twist: cotton candy was invented by a dentist. In 1897, Dr. William Morrison teamed up with confectioner John C. Wharton to create a machine that could spin melted sugar into fine threads. They debuted the treat at a World's Fair under the whimsical name Fairy Floss. It caught on, but the name didn't stick for long. In the 1920s, another dentist, Dr. Joseph Lasco, renamed it cotton candy, a name that better described its fluffy, fibrous appearance. The name change made it more appealing to kids and much easier to market at fairs and carnivals. Frisbee, originally Pluto Platter. Before it became a beach day essential, the Frisbee had a few odd names. The plastic flying disc was first introduced in the 1950s by the Wham-O toy company under the name Pluto Platter, hoping to cash in on America's flying saucer craze. It had also been informally called the Whirly Way and the Flying Saucer, but none of these names quite flew off the shelves. The final name, Frisbee, is believed to have been inspired by college students who tossed pie tins from the Frisbee Baking Company. Oddly enough, the disc's inventor, Frederick Morrison, hated the name Frisbee, but he kept cashing the royalty checks anyway. Scrabble, originally Lexico and Criss Crosswords. During the Great Depression, out-of-work architect Alfred Butts turned to word games as a creative outlet. In 1933, he invented a letter tile game that combined chants with vocabulary, but it didn't have a catchy name. At first, he called it Lexico. Later, he tried Criss Crosswords, a name that was accurate but a mouthful. Years later, entrepreneur James Brunot joined forces with Butts and helped rebrand the game as Scrabble, a word that means to grope or scratch frantically, fitting for a game of fast wordplay. They trademarked it in 1948, and by the 1950s, it had become a massive hit. Even producing 6,000 sets a week, they could barely keep up with demand. Eggo waffles, originally Froffles. In 1932, brothers Frank Anthony and Sam Dorsa launched a rich, eggy mayonnaise under the name Eggo Mayonnaise. Later, they experimented with waffle batter. To preserve the batter during shipping, they created a dry mix, and eventually a frozen, pre-cooked waffle. They called it Froffles, a combo of frozen and waffles. But the name didn't click with consumers. Since the brothers already had name recognition with their Eggo brand, they pivoted, rebranding the frozen waffles as Eggo in 1955. When Kellogg took over in 1972, they launched the unforgettable slogan, "Lego My Eggo." And just like that, Froffles became breakfast royalty. Closing thoughts, pre-outro. Some of these names might seem funny now, but they almost sank the brands behind them. Luckily, these creators had the insight, or pressure, to rebrand just in time. And today, names like Kool-Aid, Pac-Man, and Big Mac feel timeless. But it's worth remembering, they almost didn't exist at all. Wrap up. It's wild to think how close we came to calling Cheerios Cheerioats or Vaseline Wonder Jelly. Imagine ordering a blue ribbon instead of a Big Mac, or tossing around a Pluto platter at the beach. The truth is, a product's name can make or break its success. And in each of these stories, The moment of rebranding wasn't just cosmetic, it was transformational. From Fruit Smack to Kool-Aid, from Baby Gaze to Q-tips, these companies took a leap, changed direction, and made history. We often remember great products for their taste, their feel, or the memories they helped create. But sometimes, the name is what makes it stick. If you enjoyed this nostalgic trip into marketing misfires and brand makeovers, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a video. Got another wacky product name we missed? Drop it in the comments. We might feature it next time. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to rebrand.